from WBBZ-TV Sports. It's time to Beat the Champ. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Peck and Sue Novoisky.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to Beat the Champ. My name is Paul Peck with Hall of Fame bowler Sue Novoisky and Janelle Sabin. Welcome to the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center here in the city of Buffalo. It's our second visit here. We were here early in 2016. Always an interesting place, Sue, and we have an interesting lineup of bowlers for you. Not just today, but this month, not as many of the familiar names that we always see.
Right. As much as we love the antics of our familiar faces, we have new bowlers today, and we're going to get to know some of them.
Yeah, but we do have Mike Malwitz later in the month, so we will get antics.
True.
Meanwhile, on today's show, one of the bowlers, a fellow Canisius College grad of yours, which means you will be challenged for fashion supremacy, Janelle.
Yeah, we'll have to see with those Argyle pants. They're going to be hard to compete with.
Yeah, stay tuned for those. Those are coming up. Well, this place is an interesting bowling center that presents interesting challenges. Sue, what are your keys to success?
Number one will be managing the dry conditions. Number two will be ball speed. And number three will be making their spares.
All right, well, we'll see how our bowlers do. We get it started. Terry Parson returns from his success at Jamestown, so let's get rolling. First match of the day features Kevin Vulker on the left against our returning champion. That would be Terry Parson, and Volker will start things off. This is the second Beat the Champ show appearance for Kevin Volker. He bowled back in Batavia a couple of months ago, 31 years old from Tonawanda, New York, looking for his first Beat the Champ win. And here we go. It's our first series of 3 shows from the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. And we are underway with 9 pins on the first throw for Kevin Volker.
Yeah,
so the challenge here, there's many of them, Sue, and you've already talked a little bit about them. Natural wood lanes, not as slick as some of the other ones, so what's going to have to compensate for the bowlers?
well, the outside boards, which is what you're used to starting in like the track area, which would be considered the second arrow, 10th board. That is virtually unplayable. So you have to manage those dry boards somehow, and there are 2 different ways to manage it. You can manage it with ball speed and throw the ball, harder. So we see Kevin has a very, very high ball speed, so he might be able to stay a little bit more right. But another way to do it is with bowling balls, which we're going to see Terry using a plastic ball, and that's another way to manage the dry lanes.
And Terry Parson's first throw leaves himself a baby split right down the middle. Terry is on a 4-match winning streak, and you can check all the scores and keep up on everything on the social media pages at Beat the Champ TV, and of course like us on the Facebook page. A 4-match winning streak carrying over from Jamestown for the 41-year-old native of Randolph, New York, and it's an open frame in the first for Terry Parson. Not what he wanted, and he was incredibly consistent at Jamestown, averaging 228 through those 4 matches that he won, never scoring lower than 225, never higher than 234.
Well, yeah, Terry was kind of like unsure of himself. He doesn't come in with a lot of big honor scores with 300s. He has never even shot 300 as high as a 299. So, he doesn't have the same level of success that, some of the other bowlers we've seen. Yet shows you what being consistent is like, because he was, like you said, he stayed right in that range and was our champ.
Yep, 7-pin hangs up for Terry in the second frame here. So, I think the early frames are going to be interesting for all of our bowlers as they try to get a handle on the conditions here. Now, remember, Terry did not have to qualify here, so he has less time on these lanes than all of the other guys. Unless, unbeknownst to me, Terry drove up here from Randolph and spent some time bowling here to get ready, and maybe he did. We'll try to find out.
Well, that's interesting because, on the other hand, Jamestown Bowling Company has one of the tighter conditions that people have bowled on, and this is like the polar opposite. This is one of the drier conditions you're going to bowl on, so it'll be interesting to see how he reacts to that.
So a good strike there for Kevin Volker, 31 years old from Tonawanda, 224 average, CPA administrator for FedEx Trade Networks. He has been bowling since he was, maybe 4 years old, so obviously he has a wonderful history in the sport, 8 career 300 games. was a top 15 finish in the Obenauer Masters this past year in 2016. And back-to-back strikes for Kevin Volker. Well, we are off and running on 2017, Sue, but we did want to take a little look back at 2016. We've compiled some statistics that have illustrated who our most successful Beat the Champ bowlers were in 2016. As we show you most appearances on Beat the Champ, it's a pretty familiar lineup of names there, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no surprises there. We're used to seeing those guys a lot.
Mike Zarcone and Tony Dolan leading the way with the most appearances. And then the most victories, it's the same group of guys, just in a little bit of a different order.
Well, I guess the more you make the show, the better chance you have of winning.
Absolutely.
But, you know, Mike Zarcone is one of our most striking bowlers in the area. I mean, he's got a great striking game, so there's no surprise he's right up there.
Right, so there you see the list of most wins, and then the longest winning streak also Zarcone, who had that run towards the middle of the year, and then Matt White, who had that wonderful run down at the Jamestown Bowling Company in our first trip down there. That 6-match winning streak, the longest we've had, and here's Terry Parson on a 4-match winning streak with a chance to match that as we watch Terry bowl here. And there's a nice strike for Terry Parson in the 4th frame. The most trophy wins that we had, most weekly victories, you presented Zarcone and Zazowski with the most trophies in 2016, not unexpected.
Right.
And then overall winning percentage, who had the best winning percentage in our matches in 2016? Well, clearly ahead of the pack was Matt White with that 6-1 streak of his, and then Joe Chifa had that wonderful run later in the year that started at the Rapids Bowling Center. And then again, you see Zarcone and Jagosinski and Brick and Zazowski on our list too. So interesting when you start to look at the numbers, and again, not a surprise that it winds up being some of the same guys on all of those lists.
Right. Well, I think that now that we've changed to a Saturday taping, so we've changed qualifying up a little bit, we will get to see some new faces now because there's going to be new availability.
So now we pick things up here with Kevin Volker bowling in the 5th frame after a couple of strikes in a row.
Well, I did talk a little bit about being one of the keys to success here is making your spares, because what we're going to see is a little bit of different carry percentage. We might see some difficult spares to make, some splits. There tends to be a little bit more splits. Right. So you have to make those 1-pin spares.
You're just making it tough on everybody, Dan, aren't you? We welcome in Dan, the owner of the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center, to fill us in a little bit on our event here today. We're talking a lot about how there's such a challenge for the guys to bowl here. You probably enjoy a little bit of that, don't you?
That's why they called it Beat the Champ.
There you go, Dan. I like that. You couldn't have set you up any better for that one, could you? But do you hear that a lot from the guys, that you're regulars, and then the folks, and the men and ladies that bowl here, that there is an interesting challenge on these lanes?
Absolutely, especially people that don't bowl here often. They're always complaining about, it's too dry, it's too dry. But I always thought the name of the game was adjust.
And he's right. You know, I'd like to say that I've always, regardless of the scoring condition, you're all in the same condition together. So you're competing against the other bowler, and you're competing on the same exact pattern, and you're supposed to figure it out. It's not supposed to be the same way every place you go.
Yeah. If it were easy, everybody would be throwing 300s, 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 300s. Let's have a challenge.
Right. But some places like that, don't they, Dan? Some places would rather have everybody throwing big high scores.
I think some places do.
Well, the truth be told, I bowled on this condition, and I found the first couple shots I found to be dry, but I moved in, made the right adjustments, and I actually had a very good shot after I moved in.
This feels like a good time to take a short break. We'll be right back with more action on Beat the Champ. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
I'm here with our champ, Terry Parson, returning from Jamestown Bowling Company. Terry, what's the difference today, now that you've had some practice here at Kerns, between what you see here and what you bowled on at Jamestown Bowling Company?
I'm seeing a lot more friction being from the wood versus the synthetic lane. So
what do you think one of your keys to success will be today to be your champ again?
Definitely going to have to throw milder equipment. Probably old school, going back urethane, maybe even some plastic. Just playing the lane straighter.
How are you feeling today?
I feel comfortable, confident.
Great. Good luck today.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm here with Kevin Volker, who's our high qualifier today, taking on our champ. Tell us how you became a high qualifier.
I came the first weekend, shot pretty well. I shot about 675. I thought I threw the ball well. By the time the next weekend came around, I wasn't sure if I was going to make the cut, so I decided to bowl again. So I bowled again, had a little better idea of the shot. Got here. The shot was a little drier, but I was able to figure it out, ball down. I came out and shot 750, ended up being a high qualifier, then top 24. Pretty much the same thing, bowled very well, but coming back kind of helped after having the first experience from the first time being here.
Terry's got a comfortable 32-pin lead right now.
As we mentioned, Kevin Volker bowls in leagues on twice a week regularly, in addition to his regular job and all of his other bowling. He's got his parents and a bunch of friends here watching him. Sue mentioned this is our first weekend taping, so it's allowed more of the crowds to come out, Dan. And I know we got packed house here already. We're in the morning as we get this thing started, and your place is full already. You gotta like that.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's good for the sport, especially good for the programming.
So Kevin Volker, a little bit of disappointment on his face there, I think. Sue, maybe he senses that Terry Parson's on a little bit of a roll right now.
Yeah, Terry pretty much just needs to keep the ball in the lane for the next couple frames, and he'll be moving on.
And you can see on the scoreboard that Terry Parson is well in control of things here. He had an open in the first, a spare in the second, and nothing but strikes the rest of the way.
Wow, what a tremendous adjustment. I mean, and it just perfectly plays into what we've been talking about here as far as maintaining the conditions.
41 years old from Randolph, New York. Lead man at Producto is the occupation for Terry. He has been bowling not as many years as everybody else since he, maybe in his teens. Good crowd. His wife Amy here, his son Jordan, and his in-laws Linda and Jim are here cheering him on. They made the drive up from Randolph. Didn't have any real weather issues to deal with, which was great. The strike run comes to an end there for Terry Parson, but he still remains in control of this match. 7 in a row for Terry Parson, and he appears to be on his way to a 5th consecutive victory.
Yeah, that was a great adjustment by Terry out there, changing balls.
There's the Castellone scoreboard, and you can see that run of strikes that comes to an end. And a spare there for Terry. And he's going to be right in that range, if not even better, of where we said he was before, his 228 average. It's like he's going to be above that, right, Steve?
Yeah, he's going to shoot 240, which is probably going to be his highest beat the champ game.
It is. 234 had been the previous high.
And here we're saying these lanes are tough.
And a good way to end things off there for Terry Parson. Impressive performance. A 248 on the board for Terry. And the layoff from Jamestown, the drive up, the conditions didn't seem to make any difference to him at all, did they? Good effort here by Kevin Volker as well in his second Beat the Champ appearance, but kind of tough when somebody throws a 248 on you.
That's right.
So Kevin will finish things out, and next up for Terry Parson, our Canisius College bowler, Tyler Molina. Wait till you get a look at Tyler's outfit. I alluded to that with Janelle in the open to our broadcast, and he wins the early award for Best Dressed Beat the Champ Bowler.
I know I'm feeling a little quiet over here.
Well, you win the award for Best Dressed Beat the Champ Host.
I'm wearing my Canisius blue.
Well, all right, good for you. But wait till you get a look at Tyler when we get him in our next match, and he'll have quite the challenge to prevent Terry Parson from tying our overall Beat the Champ record of 6 consecutive victories. Final throw here for Kevin Volker. Misses the pocket a bit, leaves a couple of pins, actually leaves one as he got a late fall. So it's a 215 on the board. Terry Parson, the 248 to 215 win. We will talk to Kevin. We'll have more with Dan Adams. Tell us a little bit about what's going on here at the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. When we return, it's Beat the Champ on the east side of Buffalo. We're back right after this. Terry Parson beats Kevin Volker 248 to 215. That middle stretch where he threw the 7 strikes in a row probably had you thinking, boy, I've run into a buzzsaw today, haven't I?
Yeah, Terry was throwing it really well. I was throwing it well, but wasn't carrying. But Terry threw it absolutely perfect. There's nothing I could do.
Right. What's the challenge here at Kerns Avenue? Obviously, Sue and I talked a lot about it. What's the challenge for you as a bowler?
They're a little drier, so the ball will pick up earlier on you. But nice thing is I can throw the ball a little harder, so I can get the ball down lane. But it's definitely a little drier than what we're used to.
Right. All right, Dan Adams, you got a little money to give to Kevin.
Yes, indeed. On behalf of Kerns Avenue Bowling Center and the Proprietors Association, we thank you for being a part of the champ, and hopefully we'll see you again.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, Kevin, thank you very much. I know we'll see Kevin again. Next match, Terry Parson tries to stay hot against Tyler Molina. That is coming up next on Beat the Champ.
Hi, Tyler. Today, is this going to be your first appearance on Beat the Champ?
Yes, first appearance for me, and the second time that I've bowled in the qualifying.
All right, so I see we've got some shameless self-promotion for Canisius College. Tell us about your spot on Canisius College.
So my buddies and I, we started the team back up in 2010. So we bowled 3 seasons from 2010 to 2012, and we sported these lovely pants you see here. So I don't get to wear them that much, so I figured I would wear them while I could and support Canisius as well. So the bowling program's still going on, and figured I'd promote them.
As a former college bowler myself, I know the importance of team bowling.
Yes.
How does that seem different to you than individual bowling?
Well, team bowling, you're worrying about your shot, but you're also making sure your teammates are up, and they're not getting down on themselves. So individually, it's just focusing on yourself the whole time, and so I like both aspects, but individually, really get to show yourself shine, really.
All right. Well, good luck today.
Thank you.
Second match of the day here at the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. Terry Parson tries to keep that streak alive. His challenger, 25-year-old Tyler Molina from Cheektowaga, a former Canisius College bowler, if you couldn't guess that by the outfit. And as we joked about in our first match, already Tyler wins 2017's Best Dressed Bowler Award. Only certain people could pull off just like Dan Adams can pull off the hat, only certain people can pull off those pants. And Tyler does it well, and he's off to a good start with a strike in the first frame.
Yeah, we've got 2 lefties bowling against each other today in this match, and we're going to see they approach the lanes very, very differently. And again, one with more ball speed and more in the dry boards, and then we've got Terry, who's moved in a little bit with a little bit more ball, but he's into the tighter area of the lane. So
even though they're both lefties and you might think they might be playing in the same area, you're saying that's not necessarily the case.
Right. It's more what ball you use. Again, we're going back to managing the conditions.
Right.
It's with equipment and where you play on the lane.
See, doesn't he pull that hat off? See, I told you, right?
He looks dapper.
Dan, where's your microphone there? Hold your microphone up there. You are the most stylish proprietor that we've had so far on the show.
Well, I've been a hatter a long, long time. As a matter of fact, I have a picture at home of me. I must have been 5 years old with a hat on, and I've been wearing hats ever since.
Right. Well, good. You make it work, Dan. Dan Adams is the owner here, the proprietor here at the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. We're going to check in with Dan a little bit later on in this match, but here's Terry Parson coming off the spare in the first. And he's going to leave himself a little split here in the second frame. Now, he's won 5 in a row, has Terry Parson, averaged well over 230 in doing that. A win here in this match, Sue, as we showed you in the first match, would tie our record for most consecutive wins at 6.
Well, I'm sure he absolutely wants to make that graphic for next year. But one thing you can't do, and that is if you're playing deep on the lane as he is, you can't leak the ball to the left. And that's what happened here, which caused the ball to go light.
All right, let's see what Terry does with this split, and that is not what he wanted.
That's one of the things you really want to avoid is leaving splits.
All right. But remember, he left an open frame in our first match and came back to still put a 248 on. So Terry will shake that off. But the door open now for Tyler, who has been bowling since he was 4 years old. He's an insurance and marketing rep at the Lawley Insurance Group. As we said, after graduating Canisius College a couple of years ago, he's got his parents his fiancee Kelly and friends and co-workers Jeff and Lori here watching him at the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. A 232 average, and boy, a lot of power and a lot of ball speed there from Tyler Molina. And as you said, that power and ball speed is what's going to help the bowlers score well here as you get an early look at the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard. And Janelle Sabin keeping us up to date on the results. Nothing on Tyler's side yet because he's got those 2 X's up there.
Yeah, what Tyler did is pretty special. He helped, he was instrumental in bringing the college bowling program back to Canisius College. And in the heyday, like when I bowled for Buffalo State, all of the colleges around here were very strong. I had Roy Summer was the head of Buffalo State. Herm Helmer, who everyone knows, was the head of Erie Community College. Canisius had a team. Rick Mujalowski was part of leading that team. And you know, it was all very competitive for the bowlers. So bringing that back actually brings up the level of competition in the area.
Yeah, and it's great, and it's certainly great for the next generation as well, too. And college bowling is, we've had national champions. You've been a part of that as well here in Western New York. Some of the best college bowling anywhere. And there's Terry Parson shaking off that open frame with his first strike of this match. Bowls regularly in a Monday night league down in Salamanca, does Terry. You mentioned he's from Randolph, New York.
Again, he mentioned that he drilled this bowling ball up for wood conditions that he bowls on back at home. And at Jamestown, there's the synthetic surface, but he does bowl on a wood condition in his normal lane, in his normal league house, and drilled that ball up especially for wood.
Now, he didn't get any carry there over, didn't get left to right carry, and he got a couple of late pinfalls there, so he only leaves the 5-pin up. But he seems to be struggling a little bit, maybe compared to that first match, and trying to find the right groove.
Well, that's a 3-pin. That's the result of a light hit. It's almost the same thing he left on the last time he was on lane 9, except that he got the 7 out. He's coming up a bit light on that lane, so I think he's leaking the ball a little bit to the left, missing his target to the left.
And so far, nothing but perfect for Tyler Molina with strikes in the first 3 frames. And as you watch him bowl, you'll see that he brings to the table what Sue has talked about, which is the way to overcome the challenges of the lanes here at Kerns Avenue is just to blow right through them. Not asking his ball to do a lot of hooking, Sue, right? And is that the power allows you to not have to rely on that too much?
Well, he's not using a lot of hand. He's not trying to hit the ball. He's not trying to overcompensate. He's just letting the ball do what it does. Throwing it hard is able to leave him where the dryer boards are, and that creates more hook, which will give him a more pin deflection. So he'll get better splash, better carry.
So it's a spare in the 4th frame for Tyler Molina.
We're going to be back with more Beat the Champ bowling action in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
Looking for 6 wins in a row is Terry Parson.
That was unfortunate pin collision there because it really was a pretty good shot. If you saw, the pins fell kind of funny. Sometimes that happens, and this is sort of the result of a slightly high hit, but you know, normally you can kick this out.
So a crucial spare pickup here in the 2nd frame for Terry, and he gets it.
He's behind by 34, and Tyler has a strike up here, so he pretty much has to start. He has to strike out to give himself a chance.
Pounding some strikes out, doesn't he? Well, we've seen him do it. He did it for 7. It's 7 in a row in his opening match win over Kevin Volker. So we know that Terry Parson has it in him. But as he approaches the 8th frame, like you said, he's probably got to come pretty close to striking out, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So a little pressure on Terry right now to keep the winning streak alive. Well, he responds there, gets the first. Can only get him one at a time, right, Dan?
That's right, one at a time.
And now it's Tyler's job to keep the pressure on Mr. Parson.
Well, a strike here would put him up 44 pins, which would be quite a bit, really, in the 7th frame of the match. So this is a big shot for him as well.
debut on Beat the Champ for Tyler Molina. And an impressive debut as it is. We've talked an awful lot through the 2016 performances that bowlers on their debut shows haven't always fared very well. Tyler trying to break that string, and boy, if you can blow the pins away like he has been doing, doesn't matter whether it's your first or your 10th performance.
Yeah, that's going to be about it to put this match away. But you figure if you have the confidence to wear those pants, you have the confidence to throw strikes.
There you go. That's the line of the day. Perfect. Perfect. You better be pretty good if you're going to show up in those pants, right? Maybe we get a trend. Maybe we get a fashion trend. Maybe Tyler will start a fashion trend. Maybe we will have to require all Beat the Champ returning winners to wear Argyle pants, huh? At least we don't have any shorts. Is this the first month that we haven't any shorts
well,
yet?
Well, it took February to get to that.
And a little bit too much left to right action leaves that 7-pin for Tyler.
So Terry's best result is 215. So Tyler needs to, you know, pretty much get to, the spare here is going to shut out any chance that Terry has of catching up.
So this match can be decided right here. And a nice simple spare is going to give Tyler Molina the win, and it's going to end Terry Parson's winning streak at 5 in a row, but an impressive performance. Boy, I tell you, the guys that we've had on our trips to Jamestown that maybe aren't some of the name players or performers that we're used to seeing, but a Matt White who won 6 in a row, a Terry Parson that won 5 in a row, the bulk of those both coming in Jamestown, have been pleasant surprises here. Well, those guys in the Southern Tier can throw it, can't they?
Chuck Jagosinski started his big run there in Jamestown as well, even though he's not a Jamestown bowler, right?
Yeah, that was a 5 in a row stretch for Chuck Jagosinski. So Terry Parson making everybody down there in Randolph, Salamanca, and Jamestown proud with an outstanding run here. And, you know, and again, much like when Terry puts a 248 on the board to beat Kevin Volker in the first match, he's going to fall victim to a guy who's going to throw a really good score.
Well, I'll tell you, if he strikes out here, he could still make Tyler at least throw some good count.
And he does not strike out.
It was still a tremendous performance on his part. He came from a bowling center that the laying condition was polarly different from what he's bowling on, and he adjusted really well.
Yes.
Right, especially when you consider the fact that he was not part of the qualifying, as we've talked about. So he does not have as much of the lane time here at Kerns Avenue that Tyler and the rest of the guys did. So Terry will have one more here to post a final score up, and then Tyler Molina will know exactly what he needs to do and exactly what he needs to post up on the Castellone scoreboard to get the victory.
Well, he's got enough pins now. But you just want him to, he'll want to go up and make sure he's lined up for the next match he has to bowl. So he might try a different ball. Sometimes when you've got a match shut out, you go and you'll try a different ball and see how that ball reacts just to know what you're dealing with.
So a shake of the hand from Terry Parson to Tyler Molina will provide the victory on a 193 score on the board, and that is so far under the average numbers that we've seen Terry Parson throw. I think his lowest score in those the 5-match winning streak was a 225. And now just good throws here, safe throws for Tyler Molina to get himself a victory. And then he will move on to taste Chad Mead. We got a matchup of 2 of the better young bowlers in Western New York, and I know that makes you excited, Dan. We got a couple of guys under 30 years old going to square off in our next match.
Absolutely.
You've got hats older than 30 years old, don't you?
I sure do. Absolutely. But that's the future of the sport. You got to have young people. You got to have the young people coming up.
So a nice round of applause for Tyler Molina here. He'll get to throw one more to post up the final score, and then we will move on and get you set up for our next match. And it's always good to come here, Dan. You do a wonderful job here. You know, it's always good to get to this part of Western New York and see the core of bowlers and the people that are serious about being a part of what you're doing here at Kerns Avenue. We always enjoy our trips.
Well, thank you for coming, that's for sure. Oh, hold on.
We enjoy it very much. 226 for Tyler Molina advances him to the next match against Chad Mee. So it's Tyler Molina and Chad Mee. That is coming up next. We'll talk to Terry Parson about his wonderful run here on Beat the Champ when we return to the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. Terry Parson's impressive streak of 5 wins in a row comes to an end, but Terry, it was a lot of fun watching you bowl. You really were on a nice roll there. Kind of sum up the whole experience for us.
Oh, it's been great. Bowled better than I could ever expect to, you know, bowling these guys from Buffalo. It's been a lot of fun.
Right, a little pride for down there in the Southern Tier for you too, huh?
A little bit.
You guys can bowl down there, can't you?
We can hold our own, I guess.
Yeah. All right, well, speaking of holding, Dan's holding a check momentarily because he's going to give it to you.
Thank you so much for coming way here from Randolph and participating in this program. On behalf of Kerns Bowling Center and the proprietors, we thank you so much for being here.
All right, Dan Adams giving Terry the check. Hey, Terry, congratulations. We got our next match, going to be a good one. A couple of the outstanding young bowlers in Western New York are going to go at it. That's right after this on Beat the Champ.
I'm here with Chad Mee, which is second-generation bowling royalty. His dad and mom were great bowlers also. You've had a lot of success in youth tournaments, but you've gone the college route, but you didn't choose to bowl. You're bowling against a college bowler from Canisius. What made you choose not to bowl in college?
Just decided not to do it. I wanted to major in engineering at UB. They have a great program, and that's just what I want to do with the rest of my life, so I'm happy to be there.
But you're still very competitive in bowling, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Outside of college, we bowl every weekend, so bowl a lot.
All right, well, good luck today.
Thank you.
Our third match of the day from Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. You got a quick look at Chad Mee, but it'll be Tyler Molina who will start things off. A 25-year-old and a 21-year-old. I don't know that we've had two young, outstanding bowlers matching up against each other in our first year of Beat the Champ, Sue.
No, I don't think so, and they actually look like they could be brothers. Thank God for those crazy pants, we can separate the two.
It's a nice way of saying we have a very mature bowling community here in Western New York, right?
Yeah, but it's nice to see the young kids embrace it and be that good, because these guys are like solid bowlers, and you know, they kind of grew up on, you know, once short oil already started, and you know, the conditions had already changed. These guys are super solid bowlers, make great shots.
Yep, no question about it, and a lot of speed and a lot of power and big back swings, and you're going to see that particularly as we have already with Tyler, who's looking to grab the 7th pin for a first frame spare and gets it. And now we get our first look at 21-year-old, making him old already, 21-year-old Chad Mee from Hamburg. He is making his 3rd show appearance here on Beat the Champ, an overall record 2 wins and 1 loss. Took home 1 trophy back at Transit Lanes about a year ago, and we haven't seen Chad in a while, in almost a year. His last appearance came at Lucky Lanes, although he's got a good excuse. When you're a chemical engineering major at UB, you might be a little bit too busy to qualify for a bowling show.
I know, that's awesome. And it's great that he's so talented at both things, because there's no way you could throw it that good and not practice or hone your game. And yet, he's still dedicated enough to, you know, put his nose to the grindstone with his studies.
At Beat the Champ TV, hashtag Beat the Champ, or the Facebook page for all of your information. It'll give you the updates on the next set of qualifiers, our next taping event at Transit Lanes, and all the scores and stats and details. And that's a tough leave for Chad Mee.
Yeah, Chad's got a lot of hand, so he'll have to watch, keep that under control.
So let's see, what's the challenge here on a lot of pins left for Chad Mee?
You can slide it over. Just make
Oh, how about that? What an impressive performance to pick up a huge spare in the 2nd frame for Chad Mee. You don't see that very often.
No, that is one of the makeable ones, and you know, you saw exactly there how what you have to do to make it, but you still need the right pin collision for that to happen.
So I think we're shaping up as this one being pretty good with these 2 guys going at each other. Tyler Molina coming off the 226-193 win over Terry Parson in the last match, which was his Beat the Champ debut. And there is powerful pin pushing out of the way by Tyler Molina. Powerful pin pounding. How's that sound? There's the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard, and you get a look at our early strike spare combinations for each guy in our first two frames. So as once again, we welcome Dan Adams, the proprietor and owner here of the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. Give me your take on the young guys we're watching here, Dan.
Oh, I think that we've seen some fabulous young bowlers, even during the qualifiers or even when we were in the Pepsi League. These young bowlers will go from house to house to house and consistently bowl very, very high, very high.
Now, you know, there's a reason why we have been here at Kerns Avenue Bowling Center in February of each of the last 2 years. It's Black History Month, and I know that's important to you and important to your community. Tell us a little bit about the connection between that and us being here and how important the month of February is for you.
Well, I think it's a good thing that we celebrate Black history, and I'm especially proud being the only Black-owned bowling center in the state and one of 8 in the country. And I'm sure there's a lot of participation in bowling throughout the country with Black bowlers. I've been to several of the other houses that are owned, and we talk about this and that and the future of our bowling. And for our 4th show, we're going to have an organization called the National Bowling Association that started off as the Negro Bowling Association. It goes back, I don't know how many years, but they'll have someone on that will give you more information about that. Yeah.
And go ahead, Sue.
Were those, is that women or is that women and men?
The organization is is open to anyone, but we chose to bring forth the women, as we haven't seen many women on Beat the Champ, or has there been 0 so far?
None have qualified for the regular competition. We've had some of our exhibition matches, and the one you're referring to will be 3 weeks from today.
Right, exactly.
But yes, matter of fact, the one who probably came as close to making the show is the one sitting right next to me here.
Yeah,
she almost mastered the lanes here at Kerns Avenue.
Then I would have to have done the talking from the lanes while I was bowling.
Oh, absolutely.
So yes, that hasn't happened yet. Now you're also celebrating an anniversary, I believe, this month, or at least this bowling center is celebrating an anniversary, correct?
Yes, this place is 60 years old.
60 years old.
And the original owner, Whitey Heidenberg, is here, and
he is here.
I think he's gonna speak to the history of the place and also about the Proprietors Association, which he's been active in ever since I've been around. That's for sure.
Yeah, Whitey is one of the greats here in town, and Ideal Lanes was what it was originally.
Yes.
Is that correct? And you said you used to bowl here as a kid, right?
I did. This was one of my home centers where I bowled crush out of.
So a lot of history here, you know, Black history, history of the center, a lot of history, and it's fun. It's fun to celebrate that kind of stuff.
Women, we got women.
Women's history, we got a little bit of everything here, and we got a little bit of everything going on in this match as well too, as Tyler Molina and Chad Mee are kind of feeling each other out here a little bit.
Yeah, well, the lanes are changing a little bit for them because we're now in the 3rd match, and it's who's going to make the right adjustments really, because right now it's a 2-pin match.
The action will continue on Beat the Champ in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ.
8th frame now.
It doesn't. You can't create a whole lot of area, but when you're in the right spot and you make good shots, you will strike here. You just can't. You don't have 5 boards to your right and 5 boards to your left like you can sometimes find in a bowling center.
All right, so an interesting split challenge here for Tyler Molina, as that ball did not hook into the pocket enough for him, and that's how he leaves the 4, 7, and 6. And he'll get 2, but it will be an open frame in the 8th for Chad Molina, or Tyler Molina rather. I'm mixing the names up here.
Yeah, that was a tough spot to leave that.
And that could be a big door opener for Chad Mee. See how Tyler follows it up though. That's how you do it. And follow it up with a nice frame strike. And now the pressure goes back to Chad Mee to keep his performance up to par.
Well, Chad still needs count and spares. He doesn't have a whole lot of room. He's got a 20-pin lead, but Tyler can still strike out. So he definitely needs to get good count and spares the rest of the way through.
Now he got a little flying pin over there to knock a couple of extra ones down, but he'll have to play for the spare here in the 9th frame. Coming right down to the end.
It is, because the spare here, he's going to have to strike on his first ball. He'd have to double to shut out Tyler at this point.
All right.
So that's what we're looking
not
at.
happy. You can see a little bit of his body language there. Not happy with that last frame. All right, so a strike here is pretty crucial.
Well, a strike here, a strike spare, would force Tyler to have to strike out to tie. But the only way to shut Tyler out is to double. Anything less than that, and Tyler has a chance to stay in this match.
And he didn't like it. As soon as he threw it, he didn't like it. And that is not what Chad Mee wanted. And he's got to work hard on another split here. Seen some unusual splits here today, haven't we?
Well, this is
More than
makeable.
normal.
This is a washout, and it's definitely makeable. Just
Got
like
it.
that.
Big pickup on the spare in the 10th frame for Chad Mee.
There's a huge spare because he's now forced Tyler to have to double.
So one more ball to post a final score for Chad Mee, and then it'll be in the hands of Tyler Molina.
And an extra challenge is that Tyler has to double on a lane that he hasn't struck on. This has been the difficult lane for him. It's lane 10.
And a nice way to wrap it up there with a strike for Chad Mee. 202 is the final score put on the board for Chad Mee. So now Tyler Molina needs a double in the 10th frame.
One at a time. We got to start with that first one.
One at a time.
One at a time. That's all you can do.
You bowlers, see, it's my job to kind of look ahead. You guys are the ones that have to pull me back a little bit. One pin at a time, one throw at a time. All right, Tyler knows what he needs. And he got the first one. How about that for a pressure shot?
That's a nice time for a trip 6.
Big pressure shot, and guess what? Go do it again. And the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard tells the story. Janelle needs to put another X in that box on the 10th frame. Got it. Three in a row, and 3 of the most crucial ones for Tyler Molina.
Now he needs 6 to tie, 7 to win.
That's a little less pressure.
Little
Right? A little less pressure, huh, Dan?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we've seen a lot of things happen on
We
this
have
show.
seen a lot of things happen. You're right. You're right, but the way Tyler has responded to huge pressure-packed first 2 throws here in the 10th frame makes you feel good about his shot here. Let's see. And he took any doubt out of the equation. 3 strikes in the 10th frame, 4 in a row overall, and it's Tyler Molina with a big 4-pin victory over Chad Mee. Wow, that was a lot of fun right down the stretch there.
Those were a couple great shots there on a lane he wasn't striking on. That was amazing.
Outstanding shots. 206 to 202 for Tyler Molina. We'll come back and talk to the guys about an exciting match here and wrap up our first week stop at the Kerns Avenue Bowling Center when Beat the Champ returns right after this. Well, it was an exciting match that came right down to the 10th frame as Tyler Molina beats Chad Mee by 4 pins. How are you reacting when you're watching Tyler knock those strikes off in the 10th frame?
I was hoping he gets it. He's my friend, and you always root for him to get the strikes, and they need it. So I'm happy he got it. A little disappointing, but happy he got it.
Sure, understood. We got some tickets to you for the auto show coming up next week, and Dan's got a little money for you.
On behalf of the Proprietors Associations and Kerns, we'd like to present you with this for your participation.
Thank you.
And our sincere thanks to you participating.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Chad. It's always good to see you on the show. Sue?
Tyler, you have to double to win a match on a lane that you have not struck on for 5 tries. What's going through your mind?
Well, not only had I not struck on in those tries, but I hadn't doubled yet in the game. So I figured on the last frame I was there, I had to make an adjustment from there. Didn't move quite enough, so I was lucky to chip the 6 pin. But it was nice going to the last shot and hearing Paul say, "Hey, I've seen weirder things happen." So that actually kind of took a little bit of the nervousness off of me, and I was a little more relaxed on it going into those last 2 shots.
Okay, well that's an awesome story. Thank you.
Right. Well, and Tyler Molina and the Argyle Pants are going to come back for next week's show. Sue and I will preview our next week's stop here at Kerns Avenue when we return on Beat the Champ. Well, a good first week here at Kerns Avenue Bowling Center. Some great bowling, and couldn't have asked for any more dramatic match right down to the end there.
No, we were talking about the keys to success here, and adjusting to the lane conditions as they change was important. That's why we saw different winners as we went along through the week.
Right, well, we know we got Tyler Molina coming back, and his opponent to start off next week's show, the always entertaining and unpredictable Mike Mollitz, and he is your arch nemesis. So are you ready for that?
Yeah, I never know what Mike's going to do, so I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Well, if there's ever been a reason for you to tune in for next week's Beat the Champ, that's it. For Sue and Janelle and the rest of the gang here, we'll see you next week on Beat the Champ.